So, today I'm going to be talking to Mark Leruste, and in this conversation we're going to be talking about mental health, what makes you happy, and how to cope during a difficult time. Mark Leruste is the host and the founder of the Unconventionalists podcast. He is also a life coach, an author, and has recently delivered a thought-provoking TEDx talk on what they don't tell you about entrepreneurship. But more importantly than that, he is empathetic, compassionate, and just an all-round awesome guy. We first met in November 2016 on Alex Merry's speaker training. Since then, Mark has been a role model and a dear friend of mine, and I can't wait to share the conversation that we had with you. So you're an entrepreneur, as we call it. And
yeah, if you see my TEDx talk, then you'll know what I mean by entrepreneur.
Yeah. So let's tap into that, because you speak a lot about happiness and how to find happiness. And if you haven't seen Mark's TEDx talk, I highly recommend it. I was there live and it was truly incredible. But what do you think makes people truly happy?
Yeah, it's such a, it's a quite a loaded question. Like, what makes me happy and I'm not happy, and it's a tough one because I think it's a state. I don't think happiness is a constant state. I think it's more like an event, or maybe at a period in time, you're going to feel an emotion, you're going to feel happy. And I think maybe what happens is that people are wanting to feel like that all the time. And I don't think that's possible. I think, some of the happiest people I've actually met really are when I used to live in countries which did not have the resources that we have here in the Western world, and people had literally no money whatsoever, and they were some of the happiest people. Like, they were just so joyful, very giving, and it really taught me that most of the people that have the least give the most. And that was a really big lesson for me. And I think, what makes you happy, it's kind of it's a tough one. I would just say I would maybe replace that question of what makes you come alive. It's interesting, I had a consultation with a client the other day, and he calls me up and he's got this a really amazing kind of background story, and he's really unhappy at the moment, he doesn't know what to do with his life and all this stuff, and we're chatting, and as I'm talking, I'm realizing that he's kind of going down this rabbit hole of trying to figure out, what makes me happy, all this stuff. And I started to tell him, what was the last thing you did that you really enjoyed doing? And he told me about this thing that he created a hand gift for his friend who was getting married, and the joy that he had when he saw her face light up when she received this gift was instant. I could see instantly that in his face, in his demeanor, in his voice, that there was something there. And I think a lot of people are looking for the silver bullet and the answer to oh my God, this is what's going to make me happy. X, Y, Z, label this, whatever. And actually, sometimes it's just really small, and it's something that you do that makes you feel a certain way, and then don't overcomplicate it, just do more of that.
On the outside, everyone sees Mark Leruste, and you're a founder of podcasts, you have all these incredible guests, you've done a TEDx talk, you speak at Google Campus, and people really look up to you and admire you. Is that the reality? What does Mark Leruste have struggles as well, or?
Yeah, so it's always weird when I hear they look up to me. I think I'm very grateful that when I speak, people come, and I'm always massively appreciative of people who take the time afterwards to wait and come and speak to me and queue to speak to me. That's always a bit surreal. So I'm very grateful for that. Yeah, I think it's a very interesting balancing act where you project a certain image, right? It's kind of hey, look at my Instagram live story. I keep on calling it Instagram live. It's Instagram stories, right?
Stories. They have live though.
I know, but I'm thinking about Facebook Live for some reason. Steph's going to take the piss out of me. So you project this image, right? Because it's hey, look at my amazing life, and even though I talk a lot about this subject and this topic, I end up doing it myself. I'm guilty of it, If you look at me on social media, it's when I talk about my TEDx talk. If you look at me on social media, it looks like my life is banging, right? It's amazing. But no, of course I struggle. Of course I have ups and downs, and some people deal with their ups and downs different ways. Some people drink, some people take drugs, some people have sex. My vice is food. I go to food. So right now, I'm in a state of being a bit using comfort food to sort of fill up some gaps around emotions and feelings, and And man, for sure I've got moments where I'm really down. For sure there's moments where I'm doubting everything. I'm thinking, what the fuck am I doing? And why am I doing this? And is this really worth it? And am I the right person to do this? Who am I to do this? I get all these questions all the time. And I think what helps me is that I know that by sharing my own shit and by talking about it on stage, right? I'm kind of known for that when I go on stage, I'll share a lot of my stuff, and it helps people, again, my 3 beliefs, to be heard, seen and loved, because it makes people feel like, oh, I'm not the only one. Yeah. Like I got this email. I don't get them a lot, and it's, you know, I can make it sound like I get these emails. But once in a while, I will get emails. I'll get an email from someone who came to my talk and said, I just want to say thank you because, that's amazing. Yeah, because what you said enabled me to realize that I'm not alone, and that can be sometimes the most powerful thing. And you doing this YouTube channel, and anyone listening to this needs to subscribe to find out more about mental health. But by doing this, someone somewhere, I guarantee you, will listen to this and go, oh, so it's not just me.
I want to finish off with this last question. If someone is struggling and their emotions are all over the place and they can't, and they don't know the reason for that, but they know they're going downhill. Yeah. Like, what would you say to that person if you saw them?
Yeah. It's funny, I went straight to like it's very kind of almost woohoo, but I'd say, even though you can't feel it, you're loved. There's someone, he's the DJ on Elaine, the talk show, and he said something once that really marked me. He was like, you are loved, and you're worthy of love. So that would be one of the woohoo things I'd say at one point, but that probably wouldn't go very far because people would be like, that sounds great, but I feel like shit. Yeah. So I'd probably say something like, you know, what you're feeling, I get it. You know, I've been through that, I've experienced that, I know how that feels, and it feels like you can't even express, because I think that's the thing, we haven't even talked about this, but I think one of the hard things when you go through this, that sometimes you don't even know how to talk about it yourself. Yes. Right? You don't even know how to express what you feel, so how can you share it with someone because you can't even process it yourself? So that's a big problem. Yeah. So to that I would say, there are a few things. Find an expression or an expressive way to you to communicate these feelings. Now this could be written words, so it could literally be take a journal out. Yeah. Don't write on your phone, don't write on your laptop, get a piece of paper, get a pen out, get a notebook, I don't care what you use, and take a few minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, I don't care how much time you want to, and write. Write down just like, Mark said I'm supposed to write, and I know what I'm supposed to write, and I'm angry, and I'm really frustrated, and I really think that a feeling written down is a feeling half shared. And what I mean by that is that if you want to go to the next level, then maybe you want to record it, audio. But there's something about putting it out into the world, even if you capture it just in a small medium like a paper or an audio on your phone, or if you go to the next level like a video or a podcast, right? But there's something about externalizing it and not just being in your head and voicing it. I think that would be like the first step, because I think that takes a really lot of courage, a lot of gut to do that. And then the next thing I'd say is try one of your friends, someone, and actually this sounds weird, but I think most people find it easier to open up in groups of strangers than they do with loved ones. Yeah, man. So I would almost say like go to like an event nearby you or something like that, or go and try and meet new people, and you'd be surprised at how actually if you just go, yeah, I'm kind of struggling at the moment, and I don't know what to do. And then the third thing I'd say, and this is probably like the least exciting thing I'll say today, but I think it probably might have the biggest impact, is there are a few things that you need to do in order to manage your state. And what I mean by that is that there are a few things that are going to affect the way that you feel, which you can control. Okay, there are a lot of factors that we can't control, factors we can control, and then we have to take responsibility for the factors we can control. I'll just break it down really quickly. Things like, don't look at your phone the first thing you do when you wake up or just before going to bed, right? Your blue screen on your phone is going to increase your cortisol level, your stress hormone, fight or flight kind of mode is going to kick in. So you're going to increase a lot of your stress, right, around your body that's going to hold in. Mm-hmm. Other thing you can do, people are going to think I'm crazy. Like delete your social media apps on your phone, like straight up. Get rid of one. If this sounds too extreme, just get rid of one today, right? But really the reality is, if you can check your social media on a computer, then you should get it off your phone, because what we do is that we reflect on, my life's not great, I don't feel good, so let me connect to a world or a community where it's going to give me this sense of feeling of part of something. But then what I do is I compare myself to others, and everybody's got this fake life, and I don't know if I can swear, sorry, just beep it out. But really, like, I look online and people have got these perfect lives. Oh my God, I'm even worse than I started off.
You start comparing yourself, right?
You start comparing yourself and you go down this rabbit hole. And so really silly things like try and drink water, like hydrate. I know it sounds silly, but hydration. And I'll finish with this. This is the unique thing, I just spat all over you, this is the unique thing that every doctor agrees on. Doesn't matter what school of thought you come from, nutrition is a different story. People will argue, yeah, get rid of some gluten, whatever.
Yeah.
The one thing that every doctor agrees when it comes down to increasing your level of mental health and fitness and all this stuff, it's exercise. Like, when I went through my tough time back in 2009 and I was really lost, I didn't know what to do, I was totally in, I talk about it in my book, I wrote a whole chapter around it, where it was like, I didn't know what I wanted to do, I didn't know what was next for me, I was lost, I was confused, I put on a shitload of weight. The thing that really helped me and genuinely got me out of that was MMA, mixed martial arts. I discovered that, I was much bigger than I am now, and I'm quite big now, but I was much bigger than I was then. And I remember I walked in, I wasn't feeling very well, I didn't want to do anything, you don't want to go out? My dad was like, come with me, I'm going to this little village reunion of different societies. You'll do you some good, come out of the house. Because I came back to live with my parents after like 8 years, right? Which was really tough. And so, and there I met this guy called Jerome, and he was the coach, the MMA coach, very like, kind of really high spirit character, and he was like, oh man, you should come and check it out. I was like, dude, he's like, no, it's really cool, it's a really cool community, and it was. And that gave me a purpose, and that's why I talk about my TED Talks. It's like, it gave me a reason to get up, it gave me a kind of a mission, it gave me a quest to follow. And I think that's what people need sometimes. It's just something small, don't make it big or epic. But for me, it was like every Monday, every Wednesday, and every Friday, I'd show up at training, I'd practice, and I had a mission, and that was it. The rest I could cope with. And the endorphins and the dopamine that was released by exercising was by far one of the biggest help I had. I went on a massive tantrum and ran there, but yeah.
No, that's cool, man. I just want to say thank you for your time, man. It's been a pleasure. I feel like I could just sit here and talk to you all day.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Like,
you're so welcome.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
so much.
keep doing what you're doing. This is really special.
And that was my conversation with Mark Leruste. You can follow Mark on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, and please do subscribe to his podcast called The Unconventionalists. That's where Mark interviews like-minded people, inspirational people, and he drains their main stories out of them, which is awesome. I would also highly recommend that you watch his TEDx talk. As I mentioned in my interview, I was there live, and I would highly recommend you go and watch it, but I'll make sure I link that in the comments below. Last but not least, please comment, like and subscribe. I'm very new to this video journey, this YouTube journey, so any feedback I can get at this point, I'd really appreciate it. And until next time, I'll see you soon.